Defensive back Mike Hilton joined us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And in this episode, and boy, I'll tell you, this guy is outstanding. He is an excellent football player and an even better human being. When we talk about the culture and the type of people that the Cincinnati Bengals have brought to the organization, and this locker room is incredible. You go through the locker room, every single person is respectful, has answers for you, and is very, very intelligent. And they go out in the football field and they work hard and they play hard. And that is Mike Hilton. He's had a major impact on the Cincinnati Bengals, not just in the secondary. He's one of the leaders in that defensive backfield room. There's no question about it, but it permeates itself into the defense, offense. He just is one of those guys that everybody looks up to, and for good reason. You're really going to enjoy what Mike Hilton has to say. Thanks for joining us again in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And we have a great guest today. As always, he brings it. None other than the legendary Mike Hilton. Mike, how you doing today, my man?
What's going on, Dave? How about yourself?
I'm doing well. How's the body feel at this stage of training camp, Mike?
Oh, man, I'm feeling pretty good, actually. The coaches are taking care of us well, trying to make us as fresh as possible. But, I got that good soreness right now. It's a good feeling to get football back rolling. So I know that time is coming.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, what's the first thing that you think about after you have, the success you had last year, then an off season to work through it? Do you guys meet as players only? Do you meet with your position coaches and talk about, what the goals are? Do you guys set goals as players? Do you let the coaches set goals? Is it a combination? How do you guys handle that part of it?
It's really a combination. Obviously, getting to the Super Bowl last year was great for us, but we didn't win it. So it means absolutely nothing at this point. And we know with this new team and new guys that we brought in, we got to start at the bottom and climb back up to the top. So guys are focused on that one goal. We're coming in a lot more confident and a lot more hungry. So we're excited to get it rolling.
What'd you think about that ring, though? I've got rings also, not winning rings, but I look at it as an AFC Championship ring. That's a good piece of jewelry for winning that AFC Championship.
Yeah.
What do you think of yours? Do you like it?
Oh yeah, you definitely love it, man. You see how hard you work for it, but
Yep.
there's still one more that we got to get, and obviously we're close. So we're like I said, we're excited about starting at the bottom and climbing to that mountain again.
So individually, recent publication who evaluates different position groups in the National Football League evaluated the slot cornerback position, and number one at the top of the slot cornerbacks in the National Football League, Mike Hilton. What does that mean to you to be ranked number one in the entire league at your position?
It means everything. Obviously there's a lot of great slot corners out there, and I know a few just from talking to those guys, trying to get tips and everything. But, it just shows the hard work I put in. Coming in undrafted to being the best player at his position, I feel like that's a great journey. And, I never take it for granted.
So when you have to line up outside, sometimes formations and matchups or whatever, depending on the game plan, might put you outside, as opposed to lining up outside and lining up in the slot. What do you do differently from a technique standpoint? I mean, are there big differences in technique based on where you're on the football field, or is it just you apply techniques that work best for you at your size and speed and strength and all that sort of thing?
It's a little bit of both. With me starting inside, I play heavy leverage because I usually have the post safety in the middle. Sometimes I have that middle backer sitting low. So knowing, I can just really play heavy on my leverage and rely on those guys being there, it makes it easier. And then going outside, you're pretty much really on an island. You can get a little help here and there, but out there you got the sideline as a friend. But the whole route tree is different. So when I bump outside, I definitely expect different routes than what I'm used to. But I'm confident in myself to go out there and handle business.
Sure. When you are part of Lou Anarumo's defense, and you guys, I mean, it's evolving. It's constantly evolving. and Lou knows that you guys are capable of a lot because of your intelligence, overall intelligence, as well as football IQ. How intriguing is it when you go to training camp and you see the tweaks that Lou may have put in, and maybe on a week-to-week basis as you're game planning, tweaks and different things? How big of a challenge is that for you, and how forward do you look to that?
It's actually not big of a challenge. Everybody's had another year under Coach Lou's system, so like you said, we'll be able to communicate a lot better and communicate more pre-snap to alert stuff to the other team, to our teammates. So we feel like us just having another year under that belt is going to make us faster and put us in better positions to play. And we know with Coach Lou, he's gonna have great adjustments. And, us just being a team, we're gonna rely on each other and trust each other.
You can't over communicate. There's no such thing as over communication on a
Sure.
football field, is there?
For sure, absolutely. It's definitely better to over communicate than under communicate, man. Because you want to make sure you're on the same page with your guys, so there's no miscommunication leading to big plays.
So has any player caught your eye, teammate wise? And then, it's probably unfair to ask you to single players out. Everybody deserves to be there in my mind. Watching you guys work out, it's nobody like, what the hell's that guy doing here? He doesn't belong here. I mean, everybody belongs in an NFL camp, but is there anybody that has stuck out to you in terms of, boy, he's asking good questions, this guy's doing a good job, or that guy's a tough cover, or anything like that as you've gone through things in the early stages with your team?
Yeah, I take one from both sides. Start with the offense, number 18, Kwame Lassiter. Just seeing how he runs routes and how confident he is, and you can tell he's definitely real involved with T and those guys asking them questions, and you can just show when he goes out in the field, he's confident in what he has to do and he catches the ball well. And then we flip the defense. I'm gonna start with an undrafted guy, Alan George, 42. He's actually had some reps with the ones, and he was out there communicating like he's been with us, for a whole year. So he shows good signs of being a guy that we can count on. I'm excited to see those guys play on Friday.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I mean, as I look at some of the young defensive backs, you talk about Alan George, who did get those snaps. Man, there's other corners. Delonte Hood started out strong. I don't know if he's leveled off but if he's still playing. But that kid's long, man. He's got some length, and it looks like he's got good feet to go along with it. So now you got to take it from the practice field to the game field, and you've been in the league a while. You've seen players that are great practice players, but it doesn't translate in the game. You've seen guys that don't practice all that great, but man, they're gamers, and you like to have both. You like to be able to have both, but so I guess you start to figure out who's what and who can get it done in what way, I guess.
Oh yeah, you can definitely start separating when the lights come on. It's easily constantly going against your teammates, who you kind of figure out what they like to run. It's definitely a lot harder and much faster when it's another team and they're running a whole completely different offense or scheme in general. So, guys just got to be prepared for that opportunity and make the best of it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point. I mean, the offense is working on their installations, so they're repping the same type of thing. You see the same routes over and over, and then you start to adjust to the athletic ability guys have within those routes and all that, and you become that creature habit kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, it looks different, right?
Definitely like that, man. So I know those guys are going to be prepared, though. Like they know the opportunity that they have. They just got to go out there, be themselves and make the plays when they have the opportunity.
I know you're a great mentor. I know the other guys in the secondary respect you and look forward to your advice and pearls of wisdom. And what do you remember most about your first preseason game? Take me back to when Mike Hilton walked into the locker room the first time and put that NFL uniform on the first time, went out there and competed in the NFL, even though it was preseason. What do you remember about that battle?
I was with the Jaguars then. I can't remember exactly who we played, but I know pregame, before I even went into the locker room, I just sat on the bus and just took it all in. You know what I mean? That's a big moment just for anybody in general, to know you've made it, even though, like you said, it's preseason. You're living the big stage. You're living what you've been talking about since you were 5-6 years old, and you just got to embrace that moment, no matter what happens. Just have fun with it, enjoy it, and just know there's opportunities out there for you.
So when was your first aha moment? Everybody has that, oh man, these guys are good. This is the NFL. Was there anything in a early stages in practice or in a game, teammate or opponent, teammate that you practice against, an opponent that you work against in games? Is there anybody that did something where you're like, wow, man, this is legit?
Man, make me think back.
Yeah, I'm in the way back machine.
Let me see. I can't remember who we were playing, but I know I was in man coverage and he ran like a big over route, but then he brought it back outside the numbers, and I was like,
Yeah.
but that's an NFL route, so I got to get used to it. So I think that was the moment where I was like, all right, I kind of got a feel of how things play out.
Mike Zimmer, there have been a lot of visitors at training camp
Yep.
in the early stages of training camp. Mike Zimmer was there a couple of days ago and noted defensive genius, defensive guru. And when he's with the Bengals, many times they're in the top 10, a few times in the top 5 under his regime. And I asked him, okay, I know you coached in the National Football League with a few different teams as a defensive coordinator and head coach. Are there any common denominators in those great defenses that you had? He goes, every single defense that I had that was above average had great defensive backs, specifically corners. You have to have corners. You have to have pass rushers.
Yep.
And he put corners as number one. He said, because, in my mind, that shrinks the field, and he really likes, what the Bengals are putting out in the football field from the cornerback position. But would you agree with that? Do you agree with his philosophy on that?
Absolutely. Number one, rush and cover goes together. We know we got to give those guys time to get back there and, put pressure on the quarterback. But they, on the flip side, they know the quicker they get back there, the easier it's on us. So we know it goes hand in hand. But if you got guys on the outside that can lock down and just really make a team one-dimensional and shrink the field, that'll better your chances as a defense.
So what do you tell young players, draftees, undrafted players going into that first preseason game? Do you offer any advice? Do you wait for them to ask you any question, or how do you approach that as a leader?
I usually go to them. I usually go to them and just make sure they know the opportunity that they have. Do what got you here. Don't overthink it. Don't try to make every play. Do what got you here. Do what got you the opportunity to play football, and just have fun with it. Embrace it. It's a once in a lifetime thing, and you just gotta have fun with it.
I notice over your shoulder, there's the new naming rights for Paycor. It's Paycor Stadium now. How about that? That's a big deal, isn't it, Mike? Is everybody excited down there about that new partnership between the Bengals and Paycor?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That's what everybody's been saying. We just been walking around the locker room calling it Paycor. It's gonna take some getting used to, but I think guys are already embracing it.
So you've been blessed to play at Pittsburgh, which is a rabid fan base. I mean, oh man, that's such a big advantage, home field advantage when you have to go and play the Pittsburgh Steelers at their home. What do you think last year? I mean, and now selling out every single football game this year. What do you think? Are you excited about the support that you're going to get from this fan base? Do you think that this fan base in Cincinnati is pretty rabid as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel like we brought a lot of juice back to the city, and the fans are really embracing it. They're showing their love and support for us, and we definitely know it doesn't go unnoticed. We appreciate all the love that we get, and we're excited to hear them out in the jungle this year.
So, Mike, when you may not necessarily get a whole lot of snaps in this first preseason game against the Arizona Cardinals, when you're on the sideline, take me through the process. Take me through your mental process. Are you a guy that wants to hear every single call and then observe everything and make all the adjustments and the things that you do if you're out on the football field? Do you wait to see it on tape? Do you want to see it and react to it during the game and see if you're correct when you study it in tape after the fact? How do you process all that?
Yeah, I usually get a mic so I can hear the defensive calls, and I just, as the play's going on, I just imagine myself out there making the calls pre-snap, running with motion, just anything, just get those mental reps. Because obviously my reps now aren't going to be too heavy, but I know if I'm getting those mental reps, I'm just creating some type of muscle memory that I'm going to have to go out there and do during the season. So I definitely just don't let those reps go to waste. I definitely put them to use.
So the installation, have you guys pretty much got all the base stuff installed at this point in time, and now it's a matter of repetition, and then the playbook is one thing, and then game plan on a week to week basis. It takes different components, and there's always additions. But do you have pretty much, if not all, high percentage of your playbook installed at this point in time?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we're not going to show too much during the preseason, so we're going to run, our basic stuff. But we pretty much got the whole playbook in. Now it's just making sure we got everything to the T of those certain calls. Just make sure guys are communicating pre-snap and pro-snap, and just make sure guys are putting themselves in a position to make plays. So at this point, the game plan is going to be simple. We just got to go out there and execute it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're in an evaluation mode as a coaching staff right now. So the best way to do that is, quote, be vanilla and watch guys in matchups. This guy against this guy, can he handle it? And then maybe you might project, well, I might be able to do something with this guy, the skill set he's showing out there in these preseason games. I might be able to plug him in here and do this. And that's an interesting dynamic that goes on between player and coach in the preseason, isn't it?
It is. That's why I feel like they're just allowing guys to play fast. Obviously you want to make the calls vanilla, so they have maybe one or two things they have to change during the play, off of motion or off of jet sweep, just anything. But you definitely want to put those guys in simple positions to let them play fast and play hard.
Play fast is a term as well that is music to every Bengal fan's ears, and all the speed that was drafted and the speed this team already had.
Yeah.
Is this one of the fastest football teams you've ever been part of now that you've been out in the field with all these guys?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of speed on our front. Our linebackers are sideline to sideline, and we got a whole bunch of guys in the secondary that can run. And in this league, it's all about speed. And we got a lot of guys that are rangy guys that you can move to different positions, and they'll still be impactful. So we feel like with our speed, that'll be a big advantage for us.
You just mentioned move guys to different positions. I mean, the NFL is getting more and more positionless. You probably, as a player coming into the NFL in this era, you better be able to do more than one thing, right? I mean, if you just play one position, that makes it tough to make a football team because so many other guys can play more than one position, and you don't have the luxury of unlimited numbers. You have to be able to. All right, well, because of injury, this guy I know can do this. I know he can make this move, and I'm going to feel comfortable in doing it. That's a huge deal, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. They always say the more you can do, the better your chance. If you're a receiver, shoot, go make a couple tackles on special teams. That'll boost your opportunities. And I just tell guys, man, just don't worry about how many reps you get. Just make everyone count in any way you can. Like obviously, if you're a receiver, you're not getting the ball. Run your route full speed. Those little things matter. A DB, the play is on the other side of the field. Go chase it down. Show on film that you're hustling. It's just those little things that that teams will see. That will definitely keep an eye on them.
Right. At what point did you feel like, I know I can play in the National Football League. I'm being exposed to what life's like in the NFL, and I can handle this. I can hang. Did it take you a while? Did you immediately feel pretty comfortable in that regard? What was it like in the early stages of your career, Mike?
I did. I say really once I got to Pittsburgh and they really gave me my first opportunity. I knew what I was capable of, and once those coaches started getting comfortable with who I was and how to use me, they was able to see that I can make plays and be a disruptive player. So it was definitely my first year in Pittsburgh where we just all got comfortable with each other. They know me and I know them, and it just things just started working out for us. And here I am 5 years later in year 6 and still going.
Still going strong, like the Energizer Bunny, man. Keep
Yes,
going
sir.
and going. No doubt about it. That's such a big thing, though, isn't it? I mean, it's almost like if you end up being exposed to the proper environment for your talents, coming out of college, if you're not it can be difficult, whether it's, I don't know, it can be something as simple as a personality clash or something, or I just don't like that scheme, or, the coach doesn't like the technique in the scheme, whatever it is. When you find the right fit, there's nothing better. But
Absolutely.
when you can't find that right fit, man, it can be frustrating, right?
For sure, man. That's how it was for me with Jacksonville and New England. Obviously two great organizations, but I didn't fit what they were looking for, and it just didn't work. So when I got to Pittsburgh, just knowing how they were ran as an organization, obviously they were built on physicality and defense, and with me it just worked perfectly. And like I said, I enjoyed my years there, but I love it here too.
Well, I'll tell you that it's a tribute to your just persistence, perseverance. It's like, okay, faced adversity, didn't work out in those two spots, but you kept grinding and plugging. Here you are today, the number one slot corner in the National Football League, in an era where all they do is spread the field and throw the football all over the park. I mean, it's a tough challenge to play slot corner. So I mean, congratulations to you on hey, I still believe myself. Maybe you don't believe me, but I believe in me. And
Yep.
you won. You won out. You were right, man.
Yeah, man. It's just having that belief and that confidence in yourself. I've always thought I wasn't the first person to get cut, and I won't be the last. So, just like take advantage when I have that opportunity. And I've been blessed to stay healthy and be able to produce. So, things have been working in my favor, and I'm just real appreciative of it.
So when the offense and the defense have gone against each other, and some of it is competitive, you've got situational football, and you'll have competitions in the red zone, the low red zone, third down, whatever the case may be, and the defense can score points for takeaways, turnovers or stops on fourth down or whatever the case may be. And you guys have handled that aspect of it. The defense has done a tremendous job in those competitive environments. Do they do a pretty good job? Do the coaches do a pretty good job of okay, let's be competitive, but let's still practice smart. You guys get a lot out of those drills, those works, don't you?
Definitely. We know, especially on the outside, obviously receivers are going to be attacking footballs and stuff like that. So you want to play them tight, but you don't want to jump into them and jump with them. So like as you just go throughout practice, you learn to be competitive but be smart, like you said. We know as a team if you're in position to make that play, whether you jump up with the receiver or not. So that's just part of being smart and learning how to practice. So it just keep those competitive juices going, but it's also being smart and just taking care of your teammates.
Yeah, and also being smart. The number of penalties and assignment errors seem to be minimal defensively. Offensively, they had some struggles. There were a lot of penalties and putting themselves in bad down and distance situations. And the last thing you want to have happen, particularly in preseason games, as a young player trying to make a team, is you're the reason there was a free run and the quarterback got hit. You didn't know what you were supposed to do. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and everything fell apart. You don't want to be part of that. You don't want to be the guy that has the false start. You don't want to be the guy that has the holding penalty for your lineman. You want to play as clean a brand of football as you possibly can. And it looks like defensively, Mike, on a day-to-day basis, you guys are taking care of business that way. You guys have a pretty smart unit over there.
We do, and that's credit to Coach Lou and the coaches. They've been harsh, just be more disciplined this year. Be in position to make the play when you have the opportunity, but don't cause us to put ourselves in bad situations. Make teams actually beat us. Just out scheme us or make plays. Don't beat ourselves. And we took that seriously, and it starts with going against our offense. Like we have playmakers over there that are going to make things difficult, and of course he's not practicing, but we got Joe who's going to make things difficult. So we just know as a defense, man, we got to come out and be disciplined and be sharp.
Yeah, I mean, for various reasons, you got a lot of players that haven't taken snaps yet. You got Joe because of the appendectomy. You got Jesse because of the contract situation.
Yep.
You have Collins because of injury, and other players because of injury that are either haven't taken any snaps yet or are kind of starting to ramp up in individual periods, maybe not taking team snaps yet. But overall, are you still pleased with what you watch on tape when you watch practice and you take a look at your defensive unit, are you pretty impressed with what you see?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, guys are flying around. You can just tell guys are more, like I said, more confident in Coach Lou's scheme and us gelling together, playing the whole year together. You know, we know where that other person is going to be in this situation. You know, that's just growth as a defense and growth as a team. You know, we feel like our chemistry is just constantly improving, and we're able to just communicate well and fly around. So we feel as a defense, we keep that up. You know, we'll be a real good unit.
You know, I remember during the preseason, we played 6 preseason games, so it was crazy. But as we got into none of them count, obviously. It's like one year played 7, played the Hall of Fame game, 7 games, none of them count for anything. We were in training camp for over 2 months. 2 months. It was crazy. But, you know, we were always about the 3rd preseason game, and now with three that you guys play, it makes sense. Start installing things for the opener, the season opener, and do a little bit at a time, you know, and hey, pretty soon you've got an exposure and okay, here's things they like to do. Here's tendencies here. Here's how we're going to attack this. Are you guys in the mode of not total installation of the Steelers, but do you think that coaches and players, you guys are evaluating this might be something we could use against the Pittsburgh Steelers to open up the season?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, obviously week 1, you know, teams can break out anything because nothing's on film. You know, people are going to expect the unexpected. So we feel like as much as other teams are planning to scheme us, you know, we're building the scheme to use on them. So it kind of goes vice versa. And, you know, we just got to go out there, man. Whatever Coach Lewis calls, you know, just trust each other and go out there and win our one-on-one matchups.
Yeah, I mean, I always thought the opener, it's important. You got to get off on the right foot. But, man, so much game planning went into the opener. It's like, what's wrong with game 2? I mean, you go from like preparing for months for that opener, and then game 2, it's like, we're back to just a traditional, you know, game plan work week. It's crazy. But that opener, and there is like you said, the balance of learning how to practice, you know, avoid taking them to the ground and getting twisted or whatever the case may be. There's, you know, over preparation, under preparation. You got to find that perfect mesh point, don't you?
Yep. Oh yeah, you got to, man. You gotta prepare smartly in a sense. You know, just make sure you're on top of the game plan. Make sure you're on top of your calls, but you're not going out there trying to hurt nobody. You're just working on your technique and, you know, make sure you're in the best position to make the play.
So I've asked you this before, but I'm going to ask you again. Your experiences with the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know Mike Tomlin as well as anybody. You know a lot of coaches on that staff. You know a lot of players. You know what training camp is like. Do you kind of find yourself, I wonder what they're thinking as training camp starts to evolve here? Or are you strictly, I don't want to clutter my mind with those thoughts, or are people picking your brain? Mike, what do you think? I mean, what do you think Pittsburgh might do? You were there a while. What do you think about the Steelers? What do you think about their mindset? What's going on there? Anything?
So if I know those guys, I know they're going to come out prepared. You know, they're always going to be a tough challenge, no matter who's at quarterback, who's doing what. You know, you got to respect those guys and what they bring to the table. But we know come week 1, we're going to be prepared also. You know, it's a division game, and like I've been saying, you know, to get to the playoffs and where we want to be, we got to take care of our division, and you know, we got a good opportunity first game of the week.
And one thing we all know, a Mike Tomlin team is going to be prepared and physical. 2 big P's right there. Prepared and physically ready to go, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If I know Coach Tomlin, what he's saying to those guys, I know he'll have them ready week 1.
Mike, certainly do appreciate you carving time. I know you're right in the middle of training, and here you are at the stadium visiting with us. That's greatly appreciated, and it's always fun talking football with a football guy. And in my mind, you're a total football guy, my man. I really respect you.
Man, appreciate that, Dave. I appreciate you having me.
All right, Mike, have the best camp you ever had, man.
Thank you.
At First Star Logistics, we're a very strict company that really puts the pressure on our employees. Breaks? What are those?
That's what I'm talking about, Icky. Get the body right, then the mind's right. You know.
You know, to get that body right. That's right. Yes, sir.
Become a star with a chance to earn the highest commission percentages in the industry as a freight broker agent. Check out firststarlogistics.com.